welcome to MyStockScanner Live. Headlines decoded, charts simplified, and stocks evaluated with the only playbook you need. It asks questions about quality, upside, and timing. And the creators of the 3-point playbook that I'm talking about are these two gents, Hans-Henrik Nielsen and Liam Flavel. Guys, we are a month away from Christmas, exactly on the day. That means that it's what they call gobble week in the US. Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, and Black Friday, of course, the day after. Hans-Henrik, does that affect the market in some way, that we have this weird week where Thursday is closed and Friday is only half a day?
Absolutely. When US is closed, it's like parents being out of the house. Not much is happening. And yeah, it's a weird week.
There might be parents around the world saying that's the opposite of what's happening at their home. When the parents is out, everything is happening. But
that's because my kids are so well behaved. So.
It must be that. It must be that. Liam, Thanksgiving Thursday, of course, a big family day in the US, and then the big sale on Friday, Black Friday. And that means that the retail in the US are shaking in their pants. But what is the sentiment? Because a lot is being decided about Christmas and how the sales is going to be on the retailers. What's the sentiment?
They are. The sentiment seems to be pretty strong in the US. 83% of US consumers are saying they will still go out and buy. The question now is how much they're going to buy and what that sort of thing is on the discount side or on the luxury side. We'll just add one more thing. It's 1 month and 1 day. 25th of December is the correct one. Not like you European weirdos have different days. It's strange.
What's he saying?
Christmas.
I see his lips are moving and words are coming out. Makes no sense to me. Well, anyway, we're not going to discuss that. But as you can hear, these guys definitely have answers. Should you have questions, then fire them off to us on our email, fomo@mystockscanner.com. It's Monday. That means that we opened the 3-point playbook portfolio, which is up by 30.8% this morning. We look at the stocks in the portfolio, and one stock shines brightly. It's a solar stock. We will tell more in the show. And we talk about the tools that we are providing on our platform. And do stay tuned for the end of the show. We will give you a peek on a whole new tool that might just change the way that you look at stocks, both in hindsight and in the future. And since we are in hindsight mode, what happened on Friday in regards to NVIDIA? Almost a reverse repeat on what happened on Thursday, this time down, and then it was creeping up. We give you answers. RHEINMETALL plummeted on Friday together with other defense stocks as the US, or should I say Russia peace plan for Russia and Ukraine war came out. But does that mean a buy the dip situation for European stock and European defense in all? If I look at the numbers right now, RHEINMETALL is down by almost 5%. And on our show, we also have a feature called Number of the Day. It's 931%. And, well, that's not what RHEINMETALL is down or up today, at least. But let's get into it. Stock market on Friday. We saw weird, or should I say, normal movements in regards to NVIDIA, because that has become the new norm. It was sort of a rebound. And the question was, guys, did we sell our NVIDIA stocks too soon? Hans-Henrik, what do you say?
Absolutely not. We did sell it, and then it went up again. Let's just have a very quick look at it here. The thing is that when we sell stocks, we have a system thinking a bit here. When we look at NVIDIA stock, we have some clear rules for exiting, and they are mainly what we call the 50-day moving average. And that is simply the average over the last 50 days of closing prices. And what you can see here is that we sold it. It broke down here, and then it retraced back up. And we got some comments saying, was that too soon? Oh no, it reversed. It'll probably go up now. And we have absolutely no idea if it will. But it broke our our exit line, and that means we have to go out. The important thing, and the thing we stress is to all our members, is and I know it can sound a bit weird if you're not into the thinking, the strategy thinking we're doing, but that is, we are not trading the individual stock. We are trading an entire system, an entire strategy. And that means that, yeah, it might be that NVIDIA pops up 5-10% from here and then drops, or it goes up another 50% and we can get in a bit later. But we just follow our rules, and we have seen over the last decade that that is quite well to do so.
In that sense, we there's a lot of jitters, Liam, in regards to NVIDIA in general, and the AI market in general. Also, that it seems like it doesn't really know where it's going right now. And I know we're not going to use the word bubble today. No, I just did it. But anyhow, is there a confusion in the market right now, Liam?
I think confusing, maybe head scratching, and wondering where we're going to make the money back is probably the key thing. What you've got now is you've got a lot of people who've shoveled $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion into the AI market this year alone, and they're looking for more as we go forward. And effectively, people are starting to look at this and say, well, okay, the models that are coming out aren't necessarily getting hugely better. Therefore, where's the payback? If we don't mind spending money if we think we're going to get to actual general intelligence, which is where the AIs are actually the same level of intelligence that we are. Then that's great. That's a no-brainer. You go for that. You shovel money into that project. But they're actually hitting some real hard limits right now, and that's where people are saying, well, where's the money? Where's the payback going to come from out of all this investment? And no one can see that right now.
I know we're talking macro right now, and that's not something that we normally do on the show for greater length, but let me just pause with it right now, because last week also the sentiment showed up in headlines that AI is too big to fail, that simply it can't stop, because then everything basically stops. Like Hans-Henrik just stopped his phone right now.
Yeah.
But is that where we're going? Is it too big to fail?
I think for the US economy, yes, because it's the US economy. The GDP is up 1.5% or so this year. The contribution from AI into the GDP is also 1.5%. So effectively, they almost go into recession if the AI side of things fails. Also, these companies are hugely overvalued now, or hugely valued, priced for perfection. And there's an easy 30 or 40% down for any of these stocks that we've seen. Look at Oracle. It went up 36% when they announced the OpenAI deal. It's back down to the same level it was then. So, these things do happen. And, and that's simply because Oracle, everyone's saying, where are they going to make the money? Where are they going to get that investment back?
And Hans-Henrik, I know everybody who knows you knows both of you are numbers guys, and what you have been missing is numbers from the US economy. In that sense, you can see the stock market, but you couldn't get any numbers in regards to the labor market, housing sales, because the government shut down. We're going to get a few numbers this week. What are we expecting?
Well, we are expecting old news, because they are September numbers we are going to get mostly. Basically, all October numbers are out in the toilet, basically. They simply don't have the time. It's not because they're trying to hide the numbers, I'm pretty sure. It is a massive work to gather these numbers, and they don't have the time for it. So we get the September numbers, and they're not really that useful. I know the market reacted on the job numbers from September last week, but most economists and large investors said it didn't really matter. So these numbers are almost not worth looking at until we get into December and January.
We are going to get into specific numbers now, because we had a question from Peter Hansen, who wrote us at FOMO@MyStockScanner.com. He got a little worried on Friday when German RHEINMETALL, the giant down there, took a dive of 7.2%. I don't think Peter's mood is much better today, in that sense that RHEINMETALL is taking another dive, 4.8% right now. Hans-Henrik, where are we going with these defense stocks? They're basically all down.
Yeah, well, I would love to say that I knew exactly where we are going. I don't. However, we are out of most of our defense stock. RHEINMETALL, this split screen, I know it can be a bit confusing, but this over here is where we look at so-called weekly chart, meaning we are seeing a bit more of the stock movement further back in time. And we were in Rheinmetall from down here, around here around New Year 25, and then all the way up here. If we go over to the right, we can see the daily chart, and we went out somewhere around here. Now, this is what I talked about with the NVIDIA stock. We're trading the strategy, not the single stock. So we sold it. And then, of course, it's a bit annoying to see it pop straight up. But now it's back again. It basically just shows that the stock at that time were very, very expensively priced. Right now, however, if we just take a quick look at it, it's actually not that bad. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, because that's also one of the questions that we get over and over again. And of course, it's because people, they're basically doing bargain hunting here, where they say, well, 7.2% down on Friday, 5% down today. Europe is still going to stock up on the military equipment. Isn't this a buy?
Yes, and we have said that all along, all since the spring, when Trump kind of indicated that he were withdrawing some support to Ukraine. Then we thought, okay, then EU will have to jump in, and they are, if they can find the money for it. What we set back here, this is our value chart, and this is point 2. We have the 3-point playbook where we look at, first, is it a quality stock, and Rheinmetall is a quality stock. Question number 2 is there good potential upwards in it? And in here, we look at the projected earnings into the future, and we look at what price earning people are willing to pay, meaning how much will they pay for the earning they're actually making. And this value chart here indicates, and this might seem a bit much, it's not certain that we'll hit 74 or 161%, but it shows us that there is a good potential upwards in the stock. We are not buying it right now because, as we can see with the live prices here, it's dropping fairly quickly here. We do like to see the beginning of an uptrend, but I actually think that Rheinmetall and a couple of the other larger defense stocks are beginning to look fairly cheap.
And as said, it was one of the stocks that was in the 3-point playbook portfolio. And it's Monday, which means that we open up that giant book. And or maybe, Liam, I shouldn't say giant, because we're not that invested right now. We're not that percentage-wise that invested. But the investment that we do have is up 30.8% on the year so far during the year. But we are not, what are we, 53, 55% invested?
I think even less than that at the moment, around 50%, and have been for a while, actually, for about a month or so. What we often find with the playbook, and let's just share my screen and bring this up. What we often find with the playbook is that we get out of stocks just before maybe a big downturn on the market starts getting a bit nervous. So you can see that we were up around 88, 90% invested just in May. That was when everything was pretty rosy. We had the rebound trade coming from the April swoon that we had in, and we stayed fairly well invested right up until the top there. And then in July, just when you saw Rheinmetall sort of starting to dip and starting to level off, that's when we started selling our stocks. And then back in September, that was when the AI trade started stumbling, and people, were looking for reasons to, really carry on and hold on to the trade, and couldn't find too many. So we'd been there. We went back up to 76% because everyone sort of ignored that and went on, and then we come down. This isn't us actively doing this. This is our stocks actually getting a sell signal. So if we look at one that we actually sold last week, Taiwan Semiconductors, we've had it since April. It's been a fantastic stock. I think we're up 70%, something like that, on what we're doing. And effectively, the company is still a really high quality stock. Earnings are looking great. Everything looks good. From a valuation point of view, we're fairly high up. It's dropped from the top there when you can see our value chart. But the real sort of the reason we came out is just like NVIDIA. The stock has started skirting around the 50-day and actually broke it fairly meaningfully last Thursday, and then couldn't really rebound from there. So that's why we sold TSM. But we sold with a 70-odd% profit, I think, maybe 60%.
And again, these things are things that you have agreed upon even before buying the stocks. This is the way that you trade the stocks. If it drops under the 50-day, that's when you take a look at it. You see how far there's down to the 200. If there is down, they can move places. But anyway, that's what you're looking for. You're going to see what is the next stop. How far can it fall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
So
I just want to say that. Sorry, Liam, you take over here.
I was just going to say that you can see it dipped below the 50-day here, and normally we say if it goes below there, that's when almost we pull the trigger. But sometimes we'll hold on to it. So a stock like TSM, I've put an article out about a month ago saying it's the most important company out there, bar none, in the world at the moment, because it makes everything possible for us: phones, cars, missiles, you name it. So that's that. So we held on to it then, and because we thought it would still come back up. This one's slightly different. But we've also got other stocks. I think our biggest gainer so far for solar is around 40%. We're still in this trade, and you can see it's a really high quality stock. We've been in it since the beginning of August. Really high quality stock. You can see everything's green on the first point of the playbook. The value chart shows that we're up at quite an expensive level right now as well, but we're still in that trend going up, and the momentum is still with us. So as long as it carries on bouncing, then we'll still stay in the first solar stock.
I'm going to ask Hans-Henrik, because for me as an outsider to this, you guys have been at it so long, but for me, First Solar would have been one of the stocks with the politics that are prevailing in the US, that you don't believe in wind and solar and what have you. I would have said, never ever buy it.
Yeah, well, that was what I thought initially. The thing is that we try not to predict. So, for instance, I'm going out having a speech tonight in Aarhus where we are talking about how a strategy is about not predicting. That means that we are not trying to predict if Nokia will be the big winner in the future of telecommunication, or Internet Explorer will be the browser that wins the future. If Kodak will be, all of these names where we can laugh a bit and say, oh, but they are out. Yes, but at one point, people thought they were going on forever. So the predicting game is a really, really dangerous thing. I hear it all day long in the Facebook groups. Do you think the new Novo drug will be the winner? Do you think Tesla will be the winner? Do you think? No one knows. So what we're doing is we are looking at the chart. We're looking for quality. We're looking for good upside potential. And we're looking for trends. So if I just take First Solar again here, as Liam said, we came in here in 4th, 5th of August, somewhere here, and that has been a great ride. I would have guessed that Trump's policies would have killed solar. But if you're looking at installed solar right now, it's simply going through the roof. Well, it's maybe the wrong metaphor. but
it's going on the roof.
On the roof, yes.
Yeah.
So as long as this trend continues, no matter what Trump does, as long as this trend continues, we'll stay in First Solar.
And again, this is about what the tools in your toolbox are for the 3-point playbook. And we have this toolbox that we are using. As we talked about, the 3-point playbook are standing on the pillars of quality and upside and timing. But it's also a toolbox where I won't say we go to Home Depot or Sylvan or whatever it's called in the UK and buying new tools. We are making them ourselves. And Liam, Hans-Henrik, we have something in store for our users and members, especially something coming up. We're not sure when it's all done. Liam, let's start with you. Tell a little bit about the new tool.
It's our mission when we created MyStockScanner was to really look at the tools out there that we loved and we like to use, but they're all in different systems. So we look to pull them into one system and say, okay, this is the way we're going to trade. This is the way we would want to trade right from the beginning. And if we had all these tool sets, then that would have been great. You can see here a watch list. It's on the Mag 7. So it's got all the stocks in there. It's got our country stock scores. You can see they're all very high quality. You can see the MTI, so we can see where the momentum trends are in all of these, but it doesn't necessarily give us a good map for where we're going. So we're adding a couple of features into the system, and one of them is an analysis chart, which actually allows us to see where the winners have been over particular times. So we can see that over the last week, Google is up 8%. That's because they had the Gemini 3 release. Is supposed to be, and it is a pretty good release. It's not quite as good as everyone shouts about, I don't think, but you can see there that all of these stocks, they're they're in the red mainly, and we know that from the last week. The really exciting thing, the thing that's kept Hans-Henrik up all night for the last weekend, has been what we call the stock map. There are various iterations of these out in the market, but there are only a couple that we could find of people sort of using this sort of chart. And we're really surprised, because actually what we're finding after testing it over the weekend is that it's an insanely good tool for starting to identify stocks that are just about to turn and go up. You can see here, just from the Magnificent Seven, you can see that, going back 8 weeks, Meta started going down all the way down here. If we go out to about
because
15
I'm
weeks,
going to ask you, Liam, because right now if to me it looks like seven can of worm that's been tipped over on a map, and then they're just crawling. But
it does.
What direction are they crawling?
And what this shows is that you've got something called relative strength, which is the stock strength on its price compared to a benchmark, which in this case is the S&P 500. So if the stock is going from the left to the right, it means it's strengthening compared to the S&P 500. If it's over the 100 mark, it means it's stronger over the last. So it's performing better. So we're looking for stocks that are starting to outperform. Then we've got the momentum track going on the left-hand side, the y-axis here, and this is the momentum behind the stock, which is a part of the relative strength. And basically, if it's going up, it means the stock is getting stronger, and there's stronger momentum going into the stock. So what you're effectively getting is, if something is moving from lagging into the improving, which is where we like to see it, then the stock is getting stronger compared to the on momentum terms compared to the S&P 500, but it hasn't quite found its mojo to shoot up yet. And that's the time. Soon as stocks get into this part, that's when it starts getting really interesting.
And Hans-Henrik, you have been up all weekend, basically, moving around with the charts, putting in different things, and trying to get a grip of what it is that you guys have put into the toolbox.
He's needed to get a grip for a while.
I haven't succeeded there yet, but maybe get there some point. The thing, I have not gotten much sleep this weekend because, to be honest, we had a good feeling that this would be a good tool. It has turned out to be so much more interesting than I thought. What we see here, for instance, is I have put an entire industry group in here. On here, it is beverages in the US market and above a certain market cap. But what we can see here is that an entire industry group have been down here and have started to turn up. We can see here that a few of them have turned into what is called the leading thing. I would say we are doing a complete course on this when it's ready and done, so don't get too confused. But what we can actually see here is that there is an entire industry moving. We don't have to know why. We can just see, oh, they are all improving. They're all doing better than the market. We're still doing our 3-point playbook, and there is a single one of these we have that is barred here, and Anheuser-Busch, that makes the bot wire. So you can see that turned up into the blue here. And we did a complete analysis for our customers or our members. We bought it back here, went a bit down and so on, but still it has the right direction and it has the right quality. It has a good potential upwards, but we wouldn't have found it without this tool here. And I can promise people are going to be excited about this.
I'm almost going to say, put this show to bed, because we're coming up on time here for the Monday show. And we still have a full week ahead of us, even though that is Thanksgiving. We're not slowing down. And one of the things that we're going to be looking at is a webinar. We'll tell about it in just a second. We have tomorrow sort of a almost beginner's webinar where you can start all over and get to know the 3-point playbook. More about that in just a second. Today's number was 931%. That's how much the S&P 500 have gone up in 30 years. If you want the number for 10 years, it's 429%. 10 years, 217%. 5 years, 81. 10 years, 1 year, 10%. 1 month, minus 2%. So that means that maybe you should just hold on, sit on your hands once in a while, and then good things will happen. That's also part of the 3-point playbook. And talking about that, 2 webinars tomorrow, one in Danish, 7 o'clock Central European time. Hans-Henrik, what are we going to talk about?
We have got a lot of new people coming into our system, both as members, but also just interested people on watching the shows here. And we do want to introduce the way we think, the 3-point playbook, quality, potential, timing. That's new to a lot of people, and we want to go in depth with that and present our way of thinking of investing.
And that's at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, 1900 hours if we use military language, and Central European time. And the reason why I'm hammering the Central European time is that 7 o'clock UK time, Liam and I are up doing the same show, just in English.
No, the better version. More interesting one, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another show then. There's 2 shows tomorrow. 7, and if you don't get it at first round, give it a knock in the second round, because then we are up at 8 o'clock Danish time with Liam, and that's what we're coming up on tomorrow evening. We're coming towards the end of the show here, and I just want to remind our viewers that you are welcome, just like Peter had a question for us today, FOMO at MyStockScanner.com. Remember our webinars tomorrow. Liam and hans-henrik will be on top of their game, explaining the 3-point playbook from bottom up. And this has been your market scan with MyStockScanner Live. Start the week strong, ask the right questions, and invest with confidence. MyStockScanner Live is on air Wednesday at noon Central European time. Until then, happy investing. See you guys.